Hey, hey, we are live. I mean, hear me? My I'm gonna try to hmm, okay. I might have to go in. Alrighty. Can you guys see me, hear me? Had an odd thing happen. Okay, boom. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Hey there, everybody. If you can see me or hear me and everything seems okay, put a thumbs up in the chat, in the comments. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me and everything is good. Had a little technical snafu. I just want to make sure everything is working okay. If you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything seems to be working in all the places, do me a favor and put something in the comments. I don't really care what it is. I'm assuming I'm seeing numbers on there. So I'm assuming there are people there. I'm assuming you can hear me and see me and everything is okay. So I'm going to jump. I'm going to slide right in. Hey, 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 there goes somebody. Yes, you see me and hear me. It works. Hey, everybody. Great to see you all. I'm so excited to be here today. It has been a minute since I've been here. Yes, it's been a couple of weeks. My bad. A sister has been busy. Okay. A sister has been busy. All right. Busy as a bee. But that doesn't stop the world. So much has been happening. So I had to come on today to share with you my thoughts on all the craziness that's going on and to invite you to get on the wait list for my brand new podcast, Fearless Politics. If you would like to be the first to be notified when those episodes drop, all right, then go to bit.ly/fearless politics. And then go ahead and grab your drop in your information and we'll let you know. It's no cost to it or anything. This is just making sure that you are first in line to know when we go live on Fearless Politics. So with that said, let me just stop beating around the bush and get right into it. Okay, so we at war, y'all. You in danger, girl. What the hell? Okay. I have so much to say about this. I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start here, I guess. All right. So here is the thing that's really getting to me about this, with this war. Let me just say that Trump is just buck wild. Okay. He's buck wild. He's just decided he's going to do whatever the hell he wants to do, whether or not he has the constitutional powers to do it. This is not a little excursion. This is not a little go in and sort of kidnap leaders situations like he did in Venezuela, which honestly is not legal if we want to talk international law and all of that. But let's just think about what he said out of his own damn mouth. Okay. While you were sleeping the other day, he let out a video that looked like someone who was a hostage taker, basically saying, we're at war and some of y'all might die. I mean, I'm just really boiling it down to the most important parts, right? We at war and some of y'all might die. Notice that it's not going to be me. Notice that it's not going to be my son. No, it's not going to be any of the people that are in any way related to any of those ballers that are over there, shot callers, billionaires, whatever, that are all up and through Mar-a-Lago all the time. But some of y'all may have to die. And unfortunately, as I come to you today, it's already been announced that we've already had some deaths on the American side. But guess what? Americans' lives aren't the only ones that matter. As soon as they started this bombing, one of the things that they bombed is a school for girls, killing over 100 little girls in the process. And you know what I find very interesting about this is the various different machinations and contortions that different folk are getting into to make arguments that you would never hear them make under normal circumstances about why they're going to war now. And like for this reason or for reasons that are not clear to Americans. You know why? Because Trump hasn't had the balls to actually get on TV and tell you why. You know, he's saying he's in there because he wants regime change. Okay, so he is the self-appointed king of the world, and he can tell everybody in the world who you should and should not have as your leader. Although, honestly, that's not the new with America, right? But I will say it is very interesting. One of the folk that I happen to know, a MAGAite, who had the nerve to write under my comments today something about where they're going there because they care about women and girls in the LGBT community. Say what? You mean to tell me that the political party that is doing everything possible to avoid getting justice for the women and girls who were violated by Epstein and allegedly also by Trump, all of a sudden cares about women and girls? You mean to tell me the party that is doing everything to restrict the reproductive freedom of women in this country want to go halfway across the world because they claim they want to fight for freedom for women in Iran? Are you kidding me? You mean to tell me the actual party that has been saying everything under the book about how evil trans people are now give a rat's ass about the LGBT community in Iran, apparently, but not here? Y'all can keep that bullshit. Don't nobody believe that. Has absolutely nothing to do with that. Since when has Trump, number one, given a damn about anybody but himself? Number two, are we supposed to sit here and detach this from the overarching context that's happening all around this situation, not only here and having to do with this country, but let's just be real, also with Israel and Netanyahu, who's running his ass out of his own country because he's too much of a punk, apparently, to stay there while his country's at war. I'm just going to say, say that shit to somebody who actually might have an actual iota of a chance of believing your lies, because it ain't going to be me, and it ain't going to be 99% of the people in this population, including other MAGAs. Have you not seen how the MAGA ilk is in full-fledged revolt over this invasion? Have you not seen them talking about, which is true, that this person came to power claiming that he was tired of forever wars? This person came to power claiming that Kamala was going to send your sons to die in endless wars. And guess who been sending everybody's children to fight and potentially die? And now, unfortunately, some have died in his war. This latest one. He's been involved in 7, I believe we're up to like 7 different major, armed altercations in his first year in office. Who the fuck does that? He's a megalomaniac. This man presents a clear and present danger to this nation. And while he's over there playing, pretend ruler of the world, and I am going to be the person who's just going to, take out people and expect them not to have the capabilities to shoot anybody back. wreak all sorts of havoc and not have planned the first about what's going to happen afterwards. Yeah, I'm going to do all of that. And then I'm going to be shocked and appalled. Okay, go ahead. Put your question in. I can't see. Sorry. Put your question in the chat. Adeyemi, Anthony. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce your name. But it is infuriating to see him playing with people's lives like this. And now, you know, it's a lot easier to start stuff than it is to end stuff, you guys. It's a lot easier, particularly when you are sitting on in your resort in Florida, like you're playing some type of video game, messing around with people's lives. It is disgusting. And let us not forget, this is Mr. Bone Spurs in chief. This is Mr. Dodge Drafter 101, who dodged the draft himself multiple times because he claimed he had bone spurs. But every time you turn around, each and every weekend, he's flying his big jelly behind back to Florida to get on the golf course where he walks around all day. What the hell happened to his bone spurs? This is someone who, unlike Joe Biden, has a son who is of age, but who is not fighting for this country. But he got all the smoke for y'all's children to die. Ain't gonna be mine, because mine ain't gonna sign up. I made that decision before they were even born. But I am going to tell you, I am furious because he has started something that he does not, not only does he not have the intellectual capabilities of being able to foresee all of the potential domino effects, he has specifically surrounded himself by nincompoops who are too incompetent to know, and the people who are most prepared for these types of circumstances, they've either run out of the Defense Department or they fired them. Now, let me see what this question is. Let's see. Would you say Trump has a bad governance or probably has a lot of bad compared for this goodness? I'm not sure exactly the distinguishing there, but I would go with completely bad governance. I would go with that choice. Give me completely bad governance for 100, Alex. Okay. I can't think of anything that is good about his governing capabilities. I can't think of anything that is good about his leadership capabilities. I sure as hell can't think of anything that's good about his moral abilities. I sure as hell don't see any evidence of that. I see him as a loudmouth coward who talks a lot of smoke, but when push comes to shove, he's looking for the exits for himself and for his kids, while he's pushing your kids to go out there and fight stuff that he starts. So absolutely not. He has zero redeeming qualities in my mind. Okay. And I would also say, someone says here, I know a couple on vacation in Dubai. Will they be stuck there? I don't know how long they're going to be stuck there, Katrina. That's a good question, because they got their airport bombed thanks to Trump. My son was just in Dubai last week. Thank God he just made it back before this started. Literally, he just made it back a week ago last Saturday. Well, a week from yesterday. He was just there for a week before all of this started. Thank God he made it back home before it started, because not only has Dubai been hit in terms of their core financial district, their core sort of main luxury tourist area, but also their airport has been hit. And they're not the only one. Iran says, you mess with me, oh, okay, game on. We causing much havoc, and we are not going to limit what we do to combating Israel. We are going to make sure that we are making sure that, first of all, they're targeting different areas where there are where there is an American presence in terms of troops. All right. Which is one of the things that's led to the deaths and injuries that we've had, that the Americans have suffered so far. But in addition, they're going to say, hey, we're going to take the Straits up Hermes. However you say it. Bottom line is, get ready to pay more for gas. Are we great again yet? Are we great again? If we are, I may have missed it. Okay. Because I thought this was the person that said he was going to focus on making America great again. He was going to focus on getting America out of endless wars. I thought this was a person who said he was going to focus on bringing prices down. I think I remember him saying that. Now, I will say this, Black people know a liar when we see one. So, we knew he was blowing smoke when he was saying all that. Some of y'all fell for it. And now you're clutching your pearls. You can't believe he lied to you. We could have told you that. That's why we voted how we voted, okay? But the bottom line is, here we go. Because so many people either, number one, thought that, well, let's say number one is a number of reasons. Number one, you just didn't want to vote for a Black woman. Number two, you thought he wasn't lying. Number three, you thought that even though he was telling the truth, it wasn't going to impact you. There are so many reasons why, or you're just someone who is just, hateful, non-empathetic, and you like bullying people, and therefore you like him because he bullies people. So you voted for who you are. Like, I really think that's probably the whole, the various different archetypes of the Trump voter. But the bottom line is, don't expect forgiveness from me when you out here whining now, because you are shocked and appalled that he got us in another war that he has no clue how to get us the hell out of. I don't want to hear you crying and whining when you're at the gas tank next week and you're having to pay 10, 15, 20 cents more per gallon because this fool done set it off in the Middle East. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know. And he had the nerve to say, listen, not only does he have the nerve to say and whine for years that he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize, what person with any ounce of dignity, what person with any ounce of dignity would take an award that you yourself didn't earn? Who does that? Who does that? So you kidnap the ruler of Venezuela because the opposition leader got the Nobel Peace Prize. She's trying to curry favor with you, so she gives you the Nobel Peace Prize. Then you stand there. Wait, look. Let me restate that. She gives you her Nobel Peace Prize, the one that she was awarded. She gives it to you, and you sit there and stand there cheesing like you actually won something. What is wrong with this man? What is wrong with the level of crazy hubris, incompetence, ignorance goes beyond human comprehension. My brain doesn't compute that level of stupid. It's amazing to me. I mean, just absolutely amazing. You filled up your tank last night. That was smart, Felicia. Let me see what Kentu says. Iran's alliances with China and Russia assures more problems. You got that right, Kentu. I saw something today. I didn't have time to verify it before I jumped on because, you can't believe everything that you see up and down your timeline. Got to take some time to verify. But I did see something today about China sending some weapons over there. So I'm just saying that in all openness, saying that I didn't have time to verify that. But let me just say, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh my goodness. So what does Shirley say up here? I'm looking. They want a white country and think Black people and people of color are not worthy to defend this country. So, well, Black people have been defending this country since the Revolutionary War. First, Crispus Attucks. First person to die in the Revolutionary War was Black. So let white people fight and die over a draft dodgers bullshit because this war did not go through Congress. It did not. Tearing down and destroying is all he knows to do. That is true. Bull in a china shop, absolutely. Let MAGA go fight this disaster war. I agree, but shit, it's what's really funny. I find it very interesting that MAGAs are losing their shit over this. A lot of MAGAs are mad. I'm not exaggerating when I say that, you guys. A lot of MAGAs are upset with him. I've seen they are really pissed. And so the problem that he's going to face is that even if they're not going to jump over the political fence per se and vote Democratic in the primaries or in the next election because of his betrayals, who say they're going to come out at all? Here is the issue with him that I think it's important that he understands, but more importantly, I think it's more important that the Democratic Party understands. His claim to success in the political realm was that he has doubled down on speaking to and energizing his base. Yes, it's a very, very disproportionately right-wing, racist, white nationalist, Christian nationalist based, which is another word for saying white supremacists, those people who buy into the lie of white supremacy. All right. So he has a lot of them that love him, but it's not all, and race is tied up in there, but there are some other issues that they care about too. And this is one of them. And someone could argue that it has something to do with race. I mean, but even beyond that, a core tenet of what MAGA is supposedly founded on in terms of their ideals is this thought of America first. And for them, they define America first in one key way, other than what they're doing, in terms of the whole ICE thing and all that stuff and who they think is and isn't American. They are defining America first as not spending money on wars overseas, not investing in other things outside of this country. That's like a key tenet of so-called, MAGA ideology, which is, they're not only against this, they're against the Ukraine war. So, and those are white people fighting and dying over there. So, the thing is, they're against this idea of investing money out of the country to deal with foreign issues. Likewise, they are very much, and they've become a lot more vocal about the amount of money that goes to Israel. Like, they really want America investments to be spent with Americans. Okay, that is a key tenet in the MAGA movement. And so when he gets in office and he keeps going over here, over there, everywhere, getting involved in all of these entanglements, giving this country billions of dollars, giving that country billions of dollars, now spending billions of dollars over here. Yet at the same time, he got the nerve to say, we don't have money to make sure that your health insurance costs can stay low or even go lower. We don't have money to make sure that you have access to food assistance at the level that you used to have access to it, or to it at all. One of the things I heard most recently that was really heartbreaking to me, I heard where this lady called into C-SPAN talking about how she had lost 28 pounds since the last time that she's seen her doctor. And it's not because she was on a diet. It's not because she wanted to lose 28 pounds. It's not because she had to lose 28 pounds. She was literally hungry. She no longer had enough food to eat enough on a day-to-day basis. She talked about how her food assistance had been cut drastically under Trump as compared to where it was before he came in office. And as a result, she can't afford to eat full meals every day. In other words, that's starvation in America, people. So they are making sure that poor people suffer, but every time you turn around, they're throwing money away on dumbass things. And we all know that war is something that costs a lot of money. Also, it's important to realize war makes a lot of people super rich. These defense contractors, these defense companies. Here's one thing I can tell you about this president. This is the let's make a deal presidency. If you can give him money, he will do what you want to do in exchange for you. Like, where do you think all this money is going? You know, when people were donating all this money for his quote unquote ballroom, which we know is not just a ballroom. First of all, I don't believe all that money went to the ballroom. I believe a lot of that money went straight to his bank account. But even if we were to believe that some of that money went to them, all of it went to the ballroom, would you just give money, that much money to people for and not expect anything in return? Look at all the money he got for his quote unquote board of peace in the billions of dollars. Look at all the money he just ripped off from the Justice Department because he wanted to settle with a lawsuit with himself. Billions of dollars. This man has been he's been just completely corrupt and this is the only business he's been really successful in his whole life. He's gone bankrupt 6 times, but he has found every way imaginable to monetize the presidency. And if you ask me, that is the motivation behind 90% of what he does. So if you're asking yourself, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why is he doing this other thing? It doesn't make logical sense. Follow the money. Another thing, why is his son-in-law going gallivanting around the world having all of these quote unquote negotiations when we know he got hundreds of millions of dollars after the last term from the Saudis? You don't think they'd expected something from that? They just giving people money now for kicks, for laughs and giggles. We do have a Department of State. We do have a head of the State Department. We have a Secretary of State. We do have various and sundry ambassadors. Why is Jared Kushner and other billionaire friends of his going around the world supposedly negotiating on behalf of America when they were not elected to anything? They're not appointed to anything. They're not accountable to the American people whatsoever. And the people who have been appointed to specific positions that would represent those duties are being shut out. Well, what's going on here? Red flag, something ain't right. Something ain't right about that. Oh my God, I wanted to talk about a whole bunch of things, and we're almost at an hour, and I've just talked about the first thing. Thank you, C. Ron. Well, clearly, I'm not going to have time to talk about everything I want to talk about, but I will say this, okay? I will say this, because I literally had 7 things on my list, and I'm still on number 1, and I've been on here for, well over 30 minutes. But I will say this, you guys. I think a lot of things have gone into this decision. Number 1, I think that both him and, first of all, I think that the shots are really being called from outside the house, if you know what I mean. I think that that this is something that benefits both him and Netanyahu. I don't know how much you guys have been looking at Israeli politics. Not only and not just everything that they did, but just like the political winds over there. But here's the deal. Just like Trump, Netanyahu is unpopular. He is trying to hold on to power. He potentially faces a future of him going to jail. And just like Trump, he wants to do everything he can to delay elections, to delay the next election. And I believe that he believes that this could help him delay the next election, which is one of the main reasons why he wanted Trump to do this. Also, Trump has already said himself that you can't have an election when a war is going on. He's literally said that. So, maybe in his mind, he's hoping that this is something that he can use to somehow finagle his way out of the midterms so that there wouldn't be any midterms. I mean, I'm not saying that this is what would happen, but I think he thinks that it could happen. Do you see what I'm saying? And then I also think that he is also looking to do any and everything to distract from the reality of the Epstein files, which right before all this went down, I don't know if you saw, but there was credible reporting that there has been a woman who alleges that Trump raped her when he, during the whole Epstein situation. All right, that she was an Epstein victim that was assaulted by both Trump and Epstein when she was 13 years old. Those are the allegations. And it looks like that the Department of Justice had taken those pages that relay her story out of the dump that they had with regards to the Epstein files. And now people are saying, well, where is this information? What are you hiding? Why did you take it away? And so that report dropped the day of the State of the Union. And then right after this, you have this. So now nobody's talking about him sexually assaulting, allegedly, a 13-year-old anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? He had motives outside of what he is claiming to start this war, as did Netanyahu. This is something that benefits both of them politically. So just understand that he's going to try everything in the book to try to get you to stop thinking about the Epstein files. He's going to try everything in the book to distract your attention from the fact that he has, in fact, been implicated in the Epstein's files by a woman who alleges that both him and Epstein assaulted her when she was just 13 years old. So he's doing everything possible to get you to look the other way, and he's willing to sacrifice lives to do it. Just know that. All right? All right, let me move on to at least one other thing I wanted to talk about. I've missed so much. Okay, I want to talk about this. I have so many things. I'll just have to save the other ones, guys, because like I said, I had like 7 things on the list, and I only really got, now that I talked about Epstein, that was number 2. Okay, so here's, so much good stuff. I don't even know what to say. By the way, if you're just coming on, I do want to remind you, one of the things I want to let you know is if you enjoy hearing me chat about all this stuff, all things politics, I have a new politics podcast that'll be coming out this month. And I'm excited to be able to announce that here on, I'm going to call this Black Women Day. Okay. First day of March. And so definitely go to bit.ly/fearlesspolitics in order to get on the waitlist. So you can be the first to know when we launch, because we'll be launching that this month. There's so much going on, guys. I've been so busy, but a lot of good things are happening this month, and you will want to be on the list to be first to know. But I'm super excited about that particular drop, because that podcast is going to be fire. Okay. He definitely is deflecting. You're exactly right about that. Now, did you guys hear about Anthropic? Lord have mercy. I need to tell you about that. Okay. So Anthropic, which is an AI company, had a contract with the Defense Department. Thank you so much for dropping that, Katrina. I appreciate you. They had a contract with the Defense Department And the Defense Department canceled it. And I'll tell you why. Anthropic's refused. Actually, they pushed back and said that they did not want to do what the Defense Department was pushing them to do. What was the Defense Department pushing them to do, you might ask? Well, let me tell you what they were pushing them to do. And I want to be very specific and read this because I want to make sure this is right. They wanted Anthropic to use mass surveillance of U.S. citizens for oversight and foreign nationals. But let me specifically focus on like U.S. citizens without oversight. Okay. They wanted them to use their technology to be able to surveil you. Okay. Without human oversight, and they wanted it to have the ability for autonomous lethal targeting. They wanted it to have the ability for autonomous lethal targeting. What does that mean? They wanted it to have the ability to kill you. This technology without any human oversight, including you, American citizens. And Anthropic said, no, we can't do that. We feel some kind of way about that. We think there needs to be some human oversight before our technology is used to freaking kill people. Hello? And you know what this government did? They went apoplectic. Oh, they were like, okay, well, we're gonna cancel your contract in the Defense Department. And by the way, not only are we gonna cancel your contract in the Defense Department, we're gonna cancel your contract throughout the entire federal government. So they went to cancel all of the contracts because they wanted the right. This government, Trump's Defense Department, wanted the right and the ability to not only spy on you, but to kill you via artificial intelligence without any human oversight. And even with human oversight, I have a problem with it. But the fact that they're going to the wall trying to defend this, so much so that they cancel all of their contracts, and then they found someone else. OpenAI said, we'll do it. And then OpenAI said, oh, well, you know what? But we would never do that. We would never kill anyone without human oversight. We would never do that. Well, really? Because if you would never do that, that's all that Anthropic was asking for. So if that wasn't a problem for you and you got it, then why would it be a problem for Anthropic to say the same things? I don't believe a damn thing that OpenAI is saying about this. Watch your back. Your government literally was fighting for the right to kill you. That's another piece of a factoid I wanted to share with you. And I think one more I'll drop before I leave, because I do have a lot of work today. It's not a day off for me. It's a Sunday, but it's not a day off. Hey there, Dr. Deshawn. Good to see you, girl. Oh, God. Let me talk about so much, guys. I'm going to have to come back on later. But let me talk about the BAFTA thing. I'll just end on that. A relatively light note, if we want to call that light. Because I didn't get a chance. I was so busy last week. I did not have a chance to come on here and share my thoughts about BAFTA. Okay, so, well, let me just make this even more recent. Congratulations to Michael B. Jordan for his NAACP award. And did you see? I mean, it was just wonderful seeing the entire cast being honored and getting their flowers as they could in that Black environment. But let's talk a little bit about BAFTA. Okay. I think it's important to remember that BAFTA is a British award. And we need to remember who the British are. So with that said, it shouldn't be surprised that what happened. But let me just remind you that the British not only are folks that went around the world, they are like the king of colonizers. Okay. So there's that. Okay. But beyond that, I would say, do not forget that this is the same culture and the same people that literally harassed relentlessly Meghan Markle, to the point where she was suicidal, and to the point where just because she married, quote unquote, their prince. This is the type of culture where even to this day, anytime you see a post about Meghan Markle on social media, anytime you see comments about any of her shows on Netflix, chances are 100 out of 100 that you can go in the comments and find racists from Britain having a field day in those damn comments. Listen, to you white women in Britain that can't get over the fact that the handsome prince chose a black woman as opposed to the ugly prince now. I mean, he may have started out okay, but he did not age well, okay? For those of you who have a problem with that, just get over it. He didn't want your ass. He was around you the entire time. If he wanted one of y'all, he would have married one of y'all. He ain't want you. Okay? Let it go. But let me just tell you that that is the culture that made the conscious decision to edit out Free Palestine before that award show was aired, to edit out homophobic slurs that was said during the program before the program was aired, but that made the conscious decision to leave in the attack on two incredibly talented and brilliant and classy. They're regal in terms of how they navigate space. Black men, Black American men. That was a conscious decision. These are the same people who then released a non-apology apology. Like, whenever somebody says, if you took it this way, if you were offended, that's not no apology that is sincere begins with, if you took it this way. No. And interestingly, they didn't even apologize directly to the people that were hurt. They were apologizing to the audience, the people in the audience. Let me tell you, when people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them. I'm not surprised that what happened at BAFTA because I know about the culture that BAFTA is bathed in. And beyond that, I would say we have the ability to celebrate our own. And so I'm happy that that cast, that movie, those performances received the elevation that was due at the NAACP Awards. And with that, I would just say, fuck BAFTA. Bam. And I mean that, like with my whole chest. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to let y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. I just got a text in here. I got to get back to work. So there was a little communication problem. Somebody didn't get an email that they should have gotten already. So I don't know if there was a problem, but the bottom line is it's been great talking with you all today. Once again, I want to invite you to join the waitlist for Fearless Politics podcast. We will be launching this month. So make sure that you are on the list so that you will be the first to know. With that said, I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon. And maybe when I have some time later on in the week, I'll get back to some of these other things I didn't have time to talk about today. All right. All right. With that said, have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I will talk to you later. Take care, everybody. Bye. You are welcome. Bye.